Welcome into Caldwell County today. I'm Eric Stafford here with Jennifer Bowman, who is the program director for Guardian Ad Litem. And we're talking about the Guardian Ad Litem program today. And first of all, Jennifer, I'm going to have to ask you because I didn't know, what is Guardian Ad Litem? What is it and how does it work?
Okay, so the Guardian Ad Litem program is a program which is done through the court system, and so we are appointed to work with children who are court involved due to abuse and neglect. So we become involved once the Department of Social Services has petitioned the court because of their concerns. And so what the Guardian Ad Litem program does is we are the advocates for those children in court. To kind of sum it up, we are their voice to make sure the court hears what their wishes are, what their wants are, and certainly to make sure we're addressing any needs that they have. And so what we do is we recruit and train community members to be volunteers, and they work with the program supervisors in our department and also our attorney advocate who is with our program and speaks for us in the courtroom.
Oh, okay. Now, that being said, it is a volunteer position that the people do?
That is correct. So there's 2 program supervisors in the office. We're full-time staff, but all of our volunteers who work directly with our children are community members who have decided that they want to be an advocate and they have that time and that ability to step forward and be that voice for that child.
Yeah. Now, do you have to have any kind of experience to do it?
You do not. We take care of all the training and prepare you for what you're going to be doing as an advocate in the Guardian Ad Litem program. All we ask is that folks just have a desire to want to help and make a difference in a child's life, and we will take care of the rest and getting them prepared for the journey that they are going to be on as an advocate.
Now, how much, it's not a lot of time, it doesn't seem like to me.
It is very nice that our volunteers do their visits and their contacts on their own time. There is no set that you have to do visits on certain days or times, or you have to make phone calls. It really is their ability to work it into their schedules. Yeah. We do ask that our volunteers make at least once a month contact with the children that they're advocating for. And that's just to keep involved with how they're doing in their placement, how things are progressing in their case. Most of our volunteers have more than one contact a month, but we do ask at least one time is face-to-face, so they can keep that rapport and relationship with that child. But it really is a neat opportunity that you can work in your own schedule.
Yeah, and I didn't know that part of it, so that's really neat. Now, we were talking a little beforehand, and the reason I found out about Guardian Ad Litem at all was I got involved as a foster parent and went through foster parenting classes, and then the kids had a Guardian Ad Litem, and they would drop in to see the kids. I mean, they would say hey to us, but they but they really came to check on the kids and see how they were doing, and it was just a really nice thing. And they were like, hey, how you doing today? And they would come by, and it was, I mean, it wasn't long. I don't remember them staying a long time, maybe 30 minutes. But they just come by and said, hey, and they would talk to the kids and say, we're going to talk a little bit. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. And what our volunteers, what we ask that they do is, when they first meet kids, it's just really establishing a relationship and helping the children to understand what they're there to do. Yeah. Because if you introduce yourself as a Guardian Ad Litem, most people are going to be like, what exactly? Particularly children. That's a big title. So some of our volunteers refer to themselves as, I'm your gal. And it's a kind of a cute little acronym that some of our volunteers use. But they are very interested and want to build that rapport and relationship so that child knows that that volunteer is speaking for them and letting the judge know how they're doing and what they want to see happen.
Yeah, because when we got to court, then they would do their report. They would tell the judge, well, we did stop by. They're healthy and happy and having a good time. So.
Yes, each of our volunteers, each time there's a court review, they prepare a court report for the judge to review, and it details really how from the last court hearing to the current one, anything that have changed, things that have progressed, if there are any needs that have been identified, and then they make recommendations based on what's currently going on in that child's family situation, looking at, one, how we can get children to a permanent living situation as quickly as possible, so kids don't just linger in the foster care system, but certainly want to make sure that that permanent situation is going to be safe and stable in the long term.
And a lot of times, a lot of folks didn't understand when we were involved in foster care is that you're working on reunification, and you're trying to get them back home. You're trying to get things straightened out so that they can be raised and be fine and go back home. And sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't, because there's behaviors people can't change or have a hard time with. And so that's a danger to the child, or can be a danger to the child. So it was really interesting to see and to know that people could volunteer and join this program and make such a huge impact in a child's life.
And many of our volunteers, even at the close of their case, continue some kind of relationship with that family, whether it's the biological family if the child returns home, or if a relative is assumed custody or guardianship, or even an adoptive parent. Because that guardian advocate has played such a big role in what has gone on in that child's life, it is not uncommon for them to continue a relationship. At that point, not as a guardian ad litem, but as a person who's a positive impact and has been a positive influence in that child's life.
Yeah, just a member of the community that's concerned about the family.
Yes.
And like I say, it was amazing to watch. I had never experienced that before that time. And it's quite a service that they do. And you could do it too. You could be involved in a child's life for not a lot of time and make a huge impact. And people say, I want to make a difference, I want to make a change. It doesn't matter what age you are or anything, does it?
It does not. We have volunteers of all ages, from folks who are in college all the way to retirees, and it runs the gamut in between. Folks who are employed and have full-time jobs, who are volunteers, folks who are retired from employment, folks who don't work outside of the home. So it really allows folks of any background, as long as they have a desire and are willing to put in the time to do the training and do the monthly contacts and make sure they're staying abreast of what's going on, then we certainly have a place for them in our program.
Okay. So now we've got somebody excited.
Yes.
So what can they do? How do they start?
Absolutely. So right now we are serving, just in Caldwell County, we serve about 152 children in our program. 45% of those children do not have a volunteer assigned to them. So the two program supervisors follow those children. And while they do have advocacy, we don't have the opportunity to have that same one-on-one relationship with all of those children who don't have a volunteer. So for anyone listening who may be interested or think, I at least want to get some more information, they are welcome to call our office. We are here in the courthouse, and they can call 828-759-3521, and we would be happy to speak with them to answer questions, go through more in depth about the training and what we do, or they can visit a website, which is www.volunteerforgal.org, and that website is full of information about the Guardian Ad Litem program. It answers questions, goes through what the program mission is, and then there's also a place that they can do an online application if they're ready to get started.
Oh, okay. Now, I'm sure you're always looking for volunteers.
Absolutely.
So always, and we try to also here on the channel, we try to run your PSAs. So they're running between commercials. So if you don't get the information today, it's on your screen right now. But if you don't have a pencil or something, we'll re-air this show, and you can get the information then. But also in between the shows, we have spots that we run and try to keep people informed.
That's wonderful.
So,
yes.
Well, just because you're always in need of volunteers.
We are, and we certainly, anytime that folks are interested, we are more than happy to talk to them. If there are folks in the community who are watching, who are part of a community organization, church group, that would like for us to come and talk to their group about what we do and how they may be able to help us, we are more than welcome to come out and speak to folks. We do have a training coming up that'll start July the 20th. We do that in the evenings, so it's an opportune time for folks to make that step to do their application, and we can get them started in this upcoming training on July the 20th and start them on their journey.
Okay. Now, how many cases do they have to take on? I just thought of that.
Really, it's based on each volunteer. We have some who work one case at a time, and that's really based on what's going on in their own lives and what they feel like they can take. We have some volunteers who take a couple at a time. Sometimes it's based on you may have one case, but there may be 3 children.
Yeah.
You may have one case, it could be 1 child. So we really just base that on the volunteer, what they're comfortable with, what they feel like is manageable for them. So it's really just case by case.
Yeah, so nobody's ever going to be overloaded or anything.
Absolutely not. No, we want them to feel comfortable, and we want them to feel like that they are doing everything they can to manage what they have. So there would not be any pressure on anyone to take on more than they feel like they could do.
Okay. Now, Jennifer, is there anything else you want to discuss? Anything I might have missed?
Not that I can think of. Just want to take this opportunity to thank our current volunteers.
Oh, yeah.
They are just, what they do is immeasurable, and just want to say thank you to them. And they have been wonderful to recruit more volunteers. It's nice when folks get involved and then they say, I learned about you from a current volunteer.
Yeah.
We have some current volunteers who used to be foster and adoptive parents who had great experiences with their guardian ad litems, and so now they're in a different role, but just want to say thank you to them. And again, if you're interested to become a guardian ad litem or would like more information, please visit the website or just give us a call, and we'll be glad to speak with you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
All right. And thank you guys for watching on Caldwell County Today.